Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Payne. I'm with Transitional Healthcare Consultants, and I'm here with Carrie Miller with Ozark Christian Church. And today we have a special guest that I'd like to introduce to you, Miss Liberty Jones, and she has a company called Nuvera Rise, and she does some personal coaching. And today she has a special message that she would like to talk to you today about with helping us have hope and thriving in life. And I appreciate you coming today, Liberty, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say to us today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the opportunity. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on here and just the opportunity to meet you. I think that happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
So,
We just met last night.
we just met last night, yeah.
And I was like, hey, can you come today to do a presentation? She said, yes. I'm like, really? So this was just beautiful and meant to be, and I'm so happy that you're here today.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. And what we're speaking on today of having hope in suffering, like that is something that I resonate with really well, and I think a lot of us do because we all have some kind of suffering. We all experience it, and sometimes that's hard to admit. And something that I was thinking is just the vulnerability and that connection that comes with suffering, where we don't have to suffer alone. Like, we are able to connect with people when we open up and share the testimony that we all have in our life. And
Right.
that's been something I've been doing, with my coaching and also just with my online presence, to be like, this is my life. This is what God has directed, and I think that He brings us where we're meant to be.
I agree. So in your time of grief and suffering, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, that was, for me, it was a lot of self-isolation. It was a lot of feeling stuck within my own mind. Like, my life was happening, but instead of living it in real time, it was like I was living it just from the perspective of all my thoughts clouding my judgment, and just how I felt about myself. I felt like less than. I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't worthy of God, and I would see these other people, praising Him and saying these things, and I felt like, why couldn't I? And that's because I was so lost in my own suffering, and I didn't hear enough about other people sharing theirs, and so that's the beauty that I found, and that's why I like to share now.
That's great. And sharing is so important for our healing, right?
Yes.
We have to be able to talk about our problems in order to work through the issues that we are going through, the suffering, the grieving. And how did you get through that? And how do you help people try to overcome some of those grieving moments to where they have the hope, to where they are able to potentially thrive one day with their life and situations?
Yeah. So I wish there was just like a one solid answer, right?
Sure.
But one of the ways that I found is trying to read God's word and get to know who He is, because the representation that a lot of people give of God, it's not always love, right? And we can get misconceptions from that, and we can feel lost within ourselves. And so one thing that has helped me is you have to question all those negative thoughts about yourself, because a lot of the time it's so easy to describe ourselves. Like, something that I've dealt with is, a lot of depression and anxiety. And when I was in college, they said, well, you have major depressive disorder. And that was something that I felt like a label. I felt like that's all that I was.
Right.
And it was so easy to focus on that. And I had to question, like, that is not my identity. That is a label that I clung to for a while because that's how I felt. And I had to question, like, do I experience these lows? Yes. But those also give me the opportunity to share how that feels, so those other people that experience the lows can also see the lows and the highs and God.
Yes.
Because there is, I mean, it's not just always highs, right?
That's
and so
right.
that's giving me a powerful perspective shift. And that's why I like to work with mindset and with understanding why we keep ourselves in this isolation. And I think support is really important in the receiving support. Allow yourself to receive that.
Absolutely. And in your journey, have you ever done any groups or hosted any groups to help people with any of their grieving, suffering, to help them with a different mindset?
So I haven't worked with too many groups. I've had experience working with adolescents in groups through a job that I had, and a lot of it was just sitting and listening.
Right.
Sitting and listening does so much. So I've had that, but I used to think that I had to be in a certain place in life to be able to share, but I've been in different groups, just different settings, sitting and sharing, and I feel like that in itself, you're just offering that space. You're offering that support. It's not judgment, it's love for that person and what they're experiencing, and know that they are not what they're experiencing.
Did you feel when you did those groups that people benefited from those sessions? Yeah.
Absolutely. Just having that connection, feeling heard.
Yes.
Feeling heard and feeling felt is so powerful, and it's hard to recognize within ourselves how we're feeling sometimes.
Absolutely, it is.
And with life being so busy and all these things we focus on, like those opportunities that groups give to just sit and be with those people that feel that same way is so powerful.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know it's scary for people to talk
Yes.
about their problems. It's scary to come around people that you don't know and to discuss those things. And so, being here and having our videos, that's what we hope for people, is to watch these videos and to be able to find a way to experience a different type of communication, and maybe they hear something out of 5 minutes of what we're talking about that resonates to them, to where they feel like maybe they can make the next step for themselves to help them in their suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. And to go off of what you just said, I was thinking, when it is hard to come forward and share, it's because we fear that judgment, and it goes back to how we're viewing ourselves. And it's for people listening that are seeing that suffering, like, you are not your suffering, you are experiencing that, and it's easy to feel consumed by it. But when you have that safe space with people that understand, like, that is such a powerful step for yourself and for the journey that you have, and knowing that that's not the end.
That's right. And to not always expect judgment from other people, and knowing that to have some comfort with, if people are judgmental. And what does that mean if somebody else is judgmental to somebody else's suffering? What do you think that feels like, or what do you think that means to you or other people?
Yeah. So I actually had touched on the fear of judgment in one of my videos, and the thing is, it goes back to, we project our experiences and our beliefs about situations, and when we're in that negative space of feeling like we are judged, we're automatically more apt to thinking that other people are judging us, and that is something that keeps us, and that's our own, like, the cycle that we have in our head. And so when you think about judgment, it's, what if they didn't judge, right? What if it was a connection instead of that judgment? And so kind of like that reframing of, this is what I think, but it's not what other people might think. And so giving yourself the opportunity to experience something and get something great and meaningful out of it instead of judgment.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can all get in our heads so much and overthink.
Yes.
And overthinking just clouds and jumbles in our mind, giving us false feelings and thoughts. And those are the things that are hard for people to get away from.
Yeah.
So
it absolutely can be.
Yeah. Tell us some other things that you feel like could help people today with your experiences, and things that you do to help your clients live a more impactful life for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big thing goes back to identity. And when you talked about overthinking, that was something that I found my identity in someone that, oh, I'm someone that overthinks. Oh, I'm someone that's depressed. Oh, I'm someone that is not good enough. I'm someone that doesn't fit in. And internalizing that and keeping myself from opportunities. And so one thing that I work with my clients is finding their true identity.
Right. And how does that work? How do you find your true identity?
Yeah, a lot of that goes back to growing up as adolescents. We have something called behavioral adaptation,
Yeah.
where we shift and we change to receive the love that we want. And a lot of those times, which this goes back to, like just generations and not blaming parents, right? Like parents
Sure.
do the best they can with what they have, but
Right.
sometimes we don't always get the love or the nurturing. And without that being questioned, we can internalize that. And so with my clients, I talk about, what was that like in finding who they were before they were told who they were.
Right.
And then questioning those things that they were told. Like, no, I am not anxiety. I'm Liberty, right? And sometimes I've experienced anxiety. And that was when I was focused a lot on myself and not allowing God to really tell me who I was or show me who I could become.
Well, and what's so amazing is that we are all born with our own identity.
Yes.
And who we are. And we just have people help us mold that along the years of growing up, grandparents and parents and siblings and, outside family members. Those things change sometimes how we live our life because of expectations of other people. And, it's hard to stay true to yourself because of what you have experienced maybe with somebody in your family trying to, maybe tell you what you just talked about. You have anxiety, you're depressed, you're this, you're that. And you said, no, I'm Liberty. And that's who you are. And I love that. That's just beautiful. It gives me goosebumps. And just think that things that you have said today have just been beautiful. And I think that you can definitely help enhance people's lives with the energy and the knowledge that you have.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And those goosebumps, like I just want to be the vessel, and people have told me, oh, I feel like a light or like this encouragement. It's like, it's the Lord. I'm letting Him take control of where things go with my life. And you talked about how experiences like family and different things. I kind of wanted to touch on how growing up I never felt like I fit in to any group. And when you're feeling like that as a kid, you start feeling like you never fit in. And so there might be groups going on and you're like, that's not for me because I don't fit in. And it goes back to the thoughts. And so just for people that maybe haven't done groups before or haven't given themselves that opportunity, don't steal that from yourself. Like we experience opportunities and they come to us sometimes in the form of blessings, and it's okay to try something new because it's not guaranteed to go bad, right? It's not guaranteed to be a negative thing. There could be so much in that for you.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Now Carrie's going to edit because I'm stuck right now.
Can I have one of these?
Yes.
Okay.